I'm not an atheist, but every time I meet someone who behaves like they are very close to Jesus Christ, I often consider them scammers. I could be wrong, but these could have also been shaped by my experiences with deeply religious people. Like, they always end up scamming me. It is not once, twice, or thrice I have been scammed by someone who came to me with the Bible. Well, it is not just me who has been scammed. The whole continent of Africa was also scammed by people carrying Bibles. If we go back to the colonialist period, the Mzugus, the white people, first came with a Bible and introduced Christianity. Little did we know that they were fronting Christianity so that they could meddle us and make us more receptive to their ideologies so that they could get a chance to colonize us. So the white people are like, here's the Bible. Jesus likes peace and he loves unity. But then, closely behind them were the colonialists, carrying guns, coming to take our land, coming to take our property. So whenever I meet someone who tries to tell me that they are deeply religious, who knows the Bible from the beginning to the end, who has Bible verses all over in his head, someone who is always preaching, I consider them rogue scammers. Right now in Kenya, we are demonstrating against one Mr. President Ruto. This was a man who was elected because he was very close to the church. Every Sunday he was there preaching. If you are watching his campaigns, he was behaving more like a pastor than the pastor in the church that he was visiting. He knew more Bible verses than the church leaders. So we thought this man would bring development to the country. But then, what is happening now? We have been demonstrating because this man is taking everything from us, stealing from us, light after lying to us, using the Bible and the church. Bro, I often consider Christianity more like a control mechanism for keeping the crowds in check. If you want to control someone, what do you do? On one hand, you give them a reward for doing what you want. On the other hand, you punish them if they do not do what you want them to do. What does Christianity do? It promises us heaven if we behave as we are told to behave. But then, what do they promise us if we do not behave? We are told we will go to hell. So, reward, go to heaven if you do what we want. Punishment, go to hell if you do not do what we say. So, basically, in between, you are being controlled. If you are going to hell, so you must do what you are told. But then politicians take this advantage to control us. A politician will come with a Bible to your church and say, and then maybe they have already given the pastor some money. The pastor will endorse them. He will tell you that this is the man chosen by God, so you must elect him. So if you do not elect him, you are going against what God wants. And what is the punishment? You go to hell. So what do? You're forced to elect someone so that you can go to heaven, right? One thing I would say that I have never seen a country that is very close, that has the politicians close to the church that is doing well. Ghana is very highly religious. They are suffering from bad governance. Why? If the country is truly close to God, shouldn't it be thriving? The same thing with Nigeria. They have billboards everywhere, talking about praising God, about seminars belonging to the church, about praise and worship. But Nigeria is one of those countries that is also suffering from bad governance. I'm not saying that Christianity is bad. It is a good religion. But why did Africans have to abandon the original religion and start worshipping this God that was fronted to them by the white man? I am Kenyan and a Kikuyu by tribe. Before the white man came and introduced Christianity, we used to pray our God, whom we believed lived on top of Mount Kenya. We called him Mwene Nyaga. Our shrines were usually under the Mugumo tree. We considered the Mugumo tree something very sacred. But today, since the Christianity was introduced, we do not even pay attention to our Mugumo tree. We lost our traditions. Now, we do not even respect our God, Mwene Nyaga. The funny thing is, when we had issues in Kikuyu land and we decided to go under our Mugumo tree, sacrifice to our God, and pray to Mwene Nyaga, those issues would disappear. In fact, We often pray to Mwenenyaga and he would help, it would rain if there was drought. But nowadays, if you find a Kikuyu praying at a Mugumu tree, chances of him or her being called a witch are very high. Why? Because the white man made us believe that our traditions are backward. And what he believes to be the best religion is what we should follow. But then we forgot. Christianity brought us together. When, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. In Kikuyu land, we had Mwenenyaga and our own religion. If you go to Luo land, they had their own god. I think they called him Ramogi. If you move on to Masai, they had their own religion. If you move on to another community, they had another religion. So these communities believed in a superior being, but there was no way of controlling them. So what do? You first of all bring them together. Build a unit that you can place these communities together. So when they are under that unit, controlling them becomes easier. That is what Christianity did, and the white man was able to control us, colonize us for several decades before disappearing, and still come back under these puppets we call our presidents in Africa and continue extracting our resources. I want to repeat again, I'm not an atheist. I believe in God. I just do not like the way God is fronted to us by pot-bellied pastors who take our tithes and take money from politicians to keep us under control and help these politicians steal from us. Okay, in Kenya right now we are demonstrating. I had mentioned that earlier on. If you look at what President Ruto did when the demonstration started taking momentum, he called church leaders. They were given some money and then told you go and keep your crowds in check. Use the Bible to control them.